guys, so tonight I am in Cairns. So last time you saw me I think I was in Whitsundays, having just before I boarded the boat actually for 2 days. So after that I boarded a bus and travelled 10 hours north to Cairns, and accidentally checked into a party hostel, which completely wasn't for me at all. Not sure why I did that. I booked it quite late, and it was just like thumping music all night, so that was fun. Quite a nice hostel, but yeah, sharing with 6 people, it was fairly difficult to get any sleep. So I checked out of there and walked about 15 minutes to the marina to join a boat trip to the Great Barrier Reef, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time. But yeah, I found a boat a couple of days previously with one space left and decided to go for it. It was a 16-metre sail / dive boat called Coral Sea Dreaming. So I managed to find that boat at the marina and boarded there. Met with about 10 or 12 other people on board, so it was a fairly small dive boat, and we set sail for the Great Barrier Reef, which was rather exciting. However, we departed the marina and hit a fairly savage, it's probably the only way I can describe it, fairly savage storm, and fairly soon we were smashing through 3+ metre waves, and it was insane. It's the roughest thing I've ever been on. People were being sick off the side. The skipper said it was the sickest he's ever been, and he's sailing the ship, so my god, it was serious stuff. There was waves breaking over the bow and just smashing through the canopy at the back, so quite a few people got absolutely soaking wet, and it was tilting side to side like I don't know what. It was mad. So that was 4.5 to 5 hours of just getting completely smashed by Mother Nature. So yeah, that was, I was ready to be helicoptered out pretty much. But eventually we got to the reef and the waves calmed down slightly, and we got set up for our first dive. So having never scuba dived before, we had a little tutorial on how to do it, and then we were literally thrown in at the deep end, all the scuba gear on, regulator in, mask on, and sort of walk the plank and plummet into the ocean. So from there we swam to a mooring line, and made our way down that sort of descending. There's a thing called a BCD, which I think is buoyancy control device. Basically you deflate that and suddenly you start sinking because you've got quite a lot of gear on. So yeah, we started going down the line, stopped a few metres down and had a quick tutorial on how to actually clear your mask by blowing air bubbles through your nose, and how to take the regulator out underwater and put it back in and clear that. While the instructor was giving us the demo, he's obviously, you can't talk underwater, which is quite a scary concept. So it's all hand signals, and they teach you these. There's 4 or 5 super useful hand signals. Anyway, there was one other guy with me on this intro dive, and he, for some reason, I don't know why, he before the guy had finished the demo, he had taken his regulator out, and the instructor was not happy at all. So that was a fairly bad start, because obviously he's supposed to demo it and then you're supposed to do it, he points to you, but no, this guy just he just went for it and took his regulator out without even seeing the demo. So yeah, that was fun. Anyway, once that was all cleared up, we headed down the line, so hand over hand, descending into the depths. Probably the scariest thing, I've got to be honest, I've ever done. Kind of apprehensive about being able to clear the mask or not being able to get the regulator in. Obviously you can't breathe, well, you can breathe out of your nose but you can't breathe in, and yeah, your kind of normal life support system is completely changed all of a sudden. So yeah, a lot to take in, and as I say, literally thrown in the deep end. So we made our way down to maximum depth, which was I think about 12 metres, and the instructor initially held on to us and took us out to the reef, and yeah, absolutely stunning, completely like entering a different world basically. Just so much to see, like coral, fish, just so much, it's crazy. Basically, like if you can imagine a marine fish tank and then being sort of shrunk down to like the size of an ant, it kind of felt a bit like that. So yeah, we had a look around for a while, and touched down briefly on the bottom, and I spotted a rather big, sort of quite pretty looking fish, and it was swimming fairly fast, and yeah, I thought, wow, that's quite impressive, until I realised it had a rather incredible set of teeth. This thing, basically, it was angry, and it's what I now know is a triggerfish. Basically, according to the instructor, it is more dangerous than a shark. It's like the worst case scenario. An angry, big, I mean this thing, probably this big, triggerfish with these huge clampy teeth on the front, and wow, it all went downhill from there. My god. So basically felt like we were in a washing machine, like spinning round, and it was our dive instructor basically trying to get us out of the way of this thing that was attacking. So he was like basically trying to punch it, kick it, you know, he was just anything to get it out of there. Eventually he pulled out a knife which he had on him and started trying to like stab this thing to just get it to go away. Apparently their skin is quite tough, and you could probably stab this thing and it wouldn't really care. It's like leather basically. So yeah, we fought that thing for a while. Apparently their territory is kind of a funnel up from the ground, and we were down here, so we were in the triggerfish's nest, and its territory is kind of a funnel around that. So they say don't swim up, and being noobs, I guess we basically ended up swimming up its territory, which was not great because they'll basically follow you to the surface and attack you. According to the dive instructor afterwards, he said it was basically trying to go for my ankles, and that is seriously bad because they can do some real damage. He said he had a friend who had their entire ear bitten off by one of these things, so yeah, they are savage. But we came up fairly fast. It was hard to know what was going on. Once I saw the knife, I kind of knew we were in a fight with this thing, but we came up relatively fast, and he basically called the dive off. I think it was about 28 minutes in. We headed back to the boat. Fortunately, no casualties, so we got away with that one. But my god, it was probably the worst possible first diving experience imaginable. Anyway, so a bit later on, we went back for a second dive, same day. Obviously quite apprehensive after the first one, but yeah, got stuck back in, and this time it was absolutely magic. It was perfect. There's not much of a current. The dive instructor let us swim free. The buoyancy was just right. The mask was all good. Starting to feel a bit more confident. So yeah, we swam around for, I think that one was about 40 minutes. So that was a really, really good dive, and came back up feeling like, yes, this was good. So from there, I was pretty much done for the day after the horrific storm conditions and 2 dives, and not great night's sleep at the party hostel. And I was feeling like sort of seasick. We had a sort of carbonara pasta thing for dinner, like a creamy sauce. It wasn't that good for my stomach. I went for a lie down and basically thought, that's it. I heard some chatter in the background that a night dive was taking place, and speaking to some of the others, apparently the night dives are fairly incredible. Slightly apprehensive again. It's like a completely new thing. But yeah, I decided at the last minute I should definitely do this night dive. So we got kitted up, wetsuits on, regulators in, and torch on. Jumped in, and it was pretty choppy. Immediately pretty obvious that conditions had got worse again. So swam over to the mooring line, deflated the BCD again, and started descending this line. Obviously, as you go, your ears need to clear your eustachian tubes. Your ears get really quite painful, so you have to kind of clear your nose every couple of meters. So yeah, doing that, started descending this line and literally holding on with all the strength I got, because the current was serious. It was trying to rip us off that line. I guess we got about 10 minutes in, I think we got to the bottom of the line, just about. My mask, I don't know what's going on. My mask I perceived to be filling up with water. I'm not sure if it was, but yeah, I was trying to clear it. I couldn't clear it. Getting a bit panicky, and yeah, it wasn't feeling good at all. Next thing I know, I'm being sort of placed back on the line by the dive instructor. Quite nervous at this point, and suddenly we're heading back. I didn't see the signal, but yeah, there was 3 of us heading back up the line. I was quite happy at that point because it was not feeling great at all. And we got to the surface where he explained that the dive was basically aborted because the conditions were too rough. And yeah, it was a good call because there was no way I was up for that at all. It was just not good. Particularly at night, I found it's almost like you can't tell which way is up, and there's some weird, it feels like you're in space basically. It's just such a crazy sensation. So yeah, that was dive number 3. So I went to bed that night, had a reasonably good sleep considering the boat was rocking quite badly overnight, but yeah, I only woke up a couple of times, and I guess I started getting used to the feeling of the boat because the second day I didn't really feel seasick at all, which was great. So I managed to get some breakfast down, got up at about 6 AM and assumed the other divers hadn't been in, but actually they'd got up at about 5:30, and they were already out diving at 6 in the morning, which was nuts. The rest of the divers were part of a club, so they were very experienced. I think one of them was a dive master, dive instructor, and various other qualifications that I don't know about, but yeah, they were very experienced. So from there, we went out for dive number 3, which again was a really fantastic dive. I saw a mantis shrimp, which is in the wild. I mean, how often do you get to see one of those? It's like once in a lifetime thing, and yeah, it scuttled away fairly quickly, but yeah, I saw it, so super happy with that. There's a thing called a yellow boxfish, if you Google it, super cute little fish with black spots and bright yellow. That was cool. And literally hundreds of other species. I think we saw glass fish, like huge shoals of those. There was manta rays. We saw a turtle, but not in the water, or not while I was in the water. I saw one from the boat, which is cool. Just thousands of different species there. It was just the best experience. And similarly, dive number 4, probably the best dive. We had literally walls of coral either side and swimming through. We didn't get quite so much freedom from the instructor, presumably because he didn't want us to break the coral, which would be very easy. So he was kind of holding on to us this time. But yeah, swimming through like a canyon is the only way I can describe it, of coral either side, big plating corals, and every type you can imagine. I don't even know most of the names. Yeah, that was really, really fantastic. So that was the final dive for me on the Great Barrier Reef. Yeah, as I say, a really good experience. I only paid for 3 dives, but ended up doing 4, or actually 5, including the aborted night dive. I think they were about $50 per dive, so it wasn't too bad at all, I don't think. And yeah, we made our way back on the 4.5 hour trip. Fairly rough seas again, not quite as bad as before, and just came into the marina this evening at about 4:30, so I am still literally feeling like I'm at sea. I'm still rocking backwards and forwards even though I'm on land, which is quite a weird experience. But yes, the Great Barrier Reef was fantastic and probably the most incredible 2 days of my life, to be honest. Absolutely loved it. So I'm going to try and plan. I think I've got about 2 or 3 days left now, so I'm just going to try and book out some tours maybe, and finish off this awesome trip. So that's it for now. I'm sure I've missed out a load of details, but that is all I can think of right now. I desperately need a shower, a good sleep, and some food. So I'll leave it there for now, and I will see you very soon indeed. Bye.